What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 13 of the Frontline Film Podcast. I can't believe we've made it 13 weeks. That's kind of crazy. We've been doing this for 3 full months now, so that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about this episode. We got some pretty big Marvel news this week, as I'm pretty sure everybody knows. So we're gonna dive into that. Got a couple trailers, and then we're gonna talk Daredevil, of course. We're gonna talk the studio. We're gonna talk Adolescence. A lot of good TV shows. And then we also got a review for Death of a Unicorn. And then I'm gonna give a brief review of A Working Man, the new Jason Statham movie. So pretty fun little episode. And I've been just itching to talk to you about our first topic for the week. So yeah, do you want to say hello first?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Lucky number 13. We are getting close to having like big movies through like every week.
Every week.
Yeah, we're getting to like the really heart and soul of the year. This summer is going to be nuts. Big reviews every week, blockbusters every week. But I mean, even still, we've got some pretty good movies already this year, and got some sleepers I would say that we already got this year, and then some not so great movies that we got this year. So, but we're about to be like full steam ahead. Like starting this week, we got a big one. Couple weeks from now, we got a big one. May is when it really starts amping up. So super excited though.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So stick around, subscribe, like the video, comment what you want, what movies you want to hear us talk about, what you think about the movies, all that fun stuff. Help us grow. We're enjoying doing this. We're going to keep doing it. Yeah. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So on my outline, as I showed you, my first bullet point is Marvel sucks. So if you don't know, if you're watching this, you probably already do know. Marvel had their big cast announcement. Well, I don't remember what day it was, Tuesday or Wednesday, for Avengers Doomsday. And no one really knew it was coming. It was teased the day before, like, oh, Marvel's got a massive announcement tomorrow. You can never really know because there's so many fake sources out there, but everyone was like, huge news tomorrow. And so, of course, we're glued to our phones. I'm at work, you're at school, and sure enough, a live stream starts up on Marvel Studios. It just says announcement next to like a director's chair that says Chris Hemsworth. And it's just sitting there for about 13 minutes, 12 or 13 minutes, and you're like, okay, I guess Chris Hemsworth is gonna like make this big announcement. Hopefully he's coming soon. And then the camera starts moving. You're like, all right, something's happening. Here he comes. Here he comes. And it just pans over to another chair. It says Vanessa Kirby. And you're like, okay, so maybe we're gonna get like two or three of the cast, and they're gonna like announce it's in production or make some big announcement or whatever. Surely they'll be on soon. And then another like 13 minutes pass, and you get another name, and it's Anthony Mackie. So this has been about what, 45 minutes close to this point, and we started to realize that Marvel was going for the most annoying cast reveal for any movie of all time. Basically, we figured it out after like the first three or four, and some accounts on Twitter were talking about it too. It was basically just a big marketing stunt from Marvel to see or to prove to everyone that Marvel is still Marvel. Like they have obviously post Endgame been struggling. We mean you both know that. There's been a couple heaters for sure, but I would say it's been more like mid or not very good than great.
And just to clarify, when you say struggling, we do not mean at the box office. We mean as like reviews in general, just like how it's received by audiences. We do not mean financially. Marvel is not struggling financially, but yes, review wise, absolutely, they have been struggling.
Yeah. A lot of people just haven't. I mean, including us, we haven't loved everything they've put out. It just wasn't up to the caliber of the first of the Infinity Saga. So anyway, so yeah, there's been all this kind of like there's been, Marvel's been viewed negatively, I would say for the most part for the past couple of years. So
Yeah.
um what this basically was, we figured out it was basically a big middle finger to everybody. And it was their way to prove to everybody that Marvel is still the shit. It is still the biggest movie franchise in the world. Whether or not they've had a couple good or bad movies, they can put up a live stream of just chairs and 15 million fucking people are going to watch it all day long, including us two. I had it on at work all day. You had it on while you were at school. And like we fell into their trap, but honestly, like when you think about it, as much as it pissed us off, it really pissed me off. Like I was getting mad, but I understand exactly what they're doing. Like I went to school for marketing. This is like genius, genius marketing. Um, it's a great way to get people hype without giving too much away. And it was honestly kind of a test from them too to like see like, where the hype was really at for this movie. And it was like one of the biggest live streams on Twitter of all time. And it lasted what? It was like from 10 p.m. to like what?
Almost five
It was
hours.
like 5 hours or something ridiculous like that of just chairs, bro. And people were locked in and talking about it all day. So as much as it pissed me off, it was a huge, huge, huge success, I think, for Marvel. And did it make you as mad as it made me? I know, I guess at some points it did.
Yeah, I think when we were getting into like the middle ground before the first name that I actually cared about showed up, it was kind of just like, okay, we knew 90% of these characters were going to be in this movie. Like this was no surprise to anyone. Like when you see Chris Hemsworth and you see like Anthony Mackie and Vanessa Kirby and I don't remember the exact order it went in, but I know Letitia Wright and Simu Liu were before the name I cared about. We knew these characters were going to be in the movie anyway, so like them starting off like that, it is kind of a middle finger to everybody who's like, oh, no one cares about Marvel anymore. It's like, hey, look, these people we know are in the movie. Like we know they're in the movie. But we sat and watched anyways for 5 hours. But at that point it had only been what, 2 to 2.5 hours? Which I say only. It was only like 9 chairs, 2 hours in, whatever it was. But no, you are absolutely right. It is a genius marketing tool. They said, look, we are Marvel and people are gonna come watch our films, whether they're bad or not. And we already saw one this year with Captain America, and reviews were I've never seen a Marvel review that split before. Between people who didn't like it and people who loved it, there was really no middle ground of, oh, it was just okay. And did it bomb like at the box office? It probably wasn't like the greatest performance, but that's the whole movies as a whole topic, right? That's just the movies not doing well at the movie theaters. So, do you really blame Marvel for this one? No, not really. But they killed it with this, generally speaking. Was I mad? Until I saw Tina Huerta, yes, I was mad. I did not, and I was just like, I know all these people are in the movie. You're revealing names that I'm not dumb. I know where Marvel's going. Obviously, these characters are going to be in the movie. And Tina Huerta, 2.5 hours in, was the first name I was actually like, oh, wow, that's actually a surprise because we didn't know if we were going to see him again. There are noticeably names absent that we can talk about here in a second,
Mhm.
and then the big reveals don't come until Kelsey Grammer's name that was probably 3 to 3.5 hours into the live stream.
Yeah.
And we had seen Kelsey Grammer in the Marvels, right? That was Kelsey Grammer's Beast. And we had not seen or heard anything about that character, that multiverse, since the Marvels, which I believe was in 23, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. And we hadn't seen anything about it. And then they start to reveal Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and we're like, okay, hold on, like these are the old X-Men. And obviously, like we saw Patrick Stewart before in Multiverse Madness. We know who Professor X is. But then you start getting names like when I saw Ian McClellan or McClellan, I don't remember
McKellen.
McKellen. The first time I was like, okay, let's stop right here. Where are we going from here? Like, who's the next name? And then you get Mystique, the old Mystique. You get James Marsden. You get the original Nightcrawler. You get all these people, and you kind of are like, okay, well now where is the direction they're going? These are all the old X-Men. if you would have put me on the spot and put a shotgun in my head, I would have said that they were going to use the newer characters. Just me, because like people like they're more recent.
They're
They're probably
younger.
easier to incorporate. They're not as old. Like Patrick Stewart is on his like last leg.
Both of them, yeah.
And I just find it like, and we've also seen his character die multiple times just on film, which I think, or on screen, which is funny. But no, these names were 3.5 to 4 hours in. We have waited all day for something big, and we finally did get it. And then the biggest name probably that we got most excited for, I didn't see it coming. I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have, but that's just me being, you know, hindsight's 2020. Channing Tatum coming across the screen, I screamed like a little girl, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I squealed, said yes, let's go. Channing Tatum is awesome as Gambit. He was literally everybody's favorite character, I swear, in Deadpool and Wolverine. And yeah, that name coming across the screen, how could you not be excited?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was definitely the biggest name reveal. But yeah, but I'm about to dive into all of the names just to kind of go over. But yeah, no, it was a very I mean, I've never seen a marketing stunt like that for a movie. I mean, and it proved
It was
that
absolutely bold. It was
it
bold.
was and it succeeded. It
Yeah,
succeeded in what it was doing. Um And I mean, it had literally everybody talking about it all day long. Even people at my work were like
yeah,
talking about it. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So I'm going to run through the whole cast. Pretty big cast. There are some noticeable names missing, and we'll talk about that. Um, and yeah, so I'm going to jump into it. So, long list. We got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Letitia Wright as Shuri or Black Panther, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Yvonne Moss Bachrach as The Thing, Tana Huerta returning as Namor, Florence Pugh as Yelena, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Louis Pullman as Sentry, Danny Ramirez as Falcon, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, David Harbour as
Red
what's his
Guardian.
name? Huh?
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Yep, you're right. Winston Duke as M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Tom Hiddleston as Loki. That was the big one too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and last but not least, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. And obviously, you know, he showed up at the end in the chair to kind of finish the whole thing. So pretty big cast. A lot of it we did expect. I'm looking through it right now. I mean, the first like handful of names, yeah, obviously. One thing that pissed me off about it, and still kind of pisses me off about it, this basically spoils the Thunderbolts for us,
hmm
which kind of
yeah,
makes me mad.
yeah,
Um, Literally everybody's name from the Thunderbolts except Taskmaster, which we knew Taskmaster's gonna die, obviously. Um, it's just I don't know, it's weird. Even Sentry, because like Sentry's the villain.
yeah,
It's what it's looking like. So, you know, that leads me to believe that he turns to the good side or whatever, and they all live or whatever. So that kind of
yeah,
pissed me off. Kind of annoying that the whole Thunderbolts cast was there, um, but you get your main big players. You get Thor, Anthony Mackie. I mean, you get Ant-Man back. Shang-Chi for the first time in a while. Um, Tanoch Huerta was as Namor sick because we were joking about it, but then it actually came across.
yeah. We saw Letitia Wright, and I
Yep.
think I sent the text like Tina Huerta better be
Give me
next.
Tanoch Huerta.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah,
let's see, and then the next one, yeah, there were some smaller names that kind of like we were like, who cares? And then I think the next like really big name that got me was Tom Hiddleston
yeah,
because we love Loki so much, and we
yeah.
honestly didn't know if we'd ever really see that character again.
Right,
Because he had such a good ending in
right.
Loki. So we'll have to see like what that's like or if it's a different variant or whatever. But
Yep,
that reunion between him and Thor's gonna hit,
yep,
and then you start getting all the big names, all
yep,
the big X-Men names in a row, pretty much.
yep.
Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romijn, James Marsden. That's I mean that's crazy. We haven't seen most of those people in 15 years.
Yeah, the only reason or the only one that we've seen is Patrick Stewart, and that was in Multiverse of Madness. And no, there were a lot of names that I was like, wow, I can't believe they're doing this. And like you said, Tom Hiddleston, like, where are we gonna see his character again? Tina Huerta, oh well, where are we gonna see Namor again, or when are we gonna see Namor again? And when you see Kelsey Grammer, which we're like, okay, we've seen him recently. We've seen him recently as Beast and Patrick Stewart. But when you go to the original X-Men, you see Ian McKellen, James Marsden, and the rest of the X-Men. Which we can talk kind of about the names that were absent from the original X-Men, and I
Yep.
think the couple that were big, one we've already seen in the MCU. Hugh Jackman was not on this list as Wolverine, which is interesting. I mean, if we're gonna have
He's the
these
main
X,
character of that
yeah,
franchise, you know?
yeah, like we have Professor X, we have Magneto, we have Cyclops, we have Mystique, Nightcrawler, Beast. Where is Wolverine? And are we going to see him? Now, we do know that this is not the whole cast. We do know that I think that's kind of been like confirmed that there are more to come, but why not go ahead and put him in there? What's the reasoning there? And I think the other one from the original X-Men that I thought might have been on there was Halle Berry as Storm. And how cool Storm is as a character, how OP Storm is as a character, and we know kind of like Doctor Doom is insanely powerful. Storm could definitely be important in a story like this. But no, no Halle Berry. And does that mean we're not getting Storm, or does that mean Storm is coming? We just don't know when. It's just questions that kind of have to be asked. But as far as the X-Men go, and I think we can throw Ryan Reynolds in there as Deadpool. I know he's not an official X-Men member, but to see neither him nor Hugh Jackman in there is kind of interesting the way they did it. So I just am very, very, intrigued to just see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I think the other two big noticeable names that have been in Marvel, maybe it's three, but the two that I just think of immediately is Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Where are they at? Why are they not in here? I think Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, I think is important too. Does that mean none of the Marvels are going to be in it? And last time I checked, the Marvels was the one that introduced Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Yep.
So I feel like that's kind of important. No Monica Rambeau, obviously,
Yeah,
no.
which is weird because she's like the connection between the
Right.
MCU and obviously this
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah,
So,
no Kamala Khan, which we will talk about the cons here in a little while. We talk Daredevil. But yeah, no, there's some interesting names that are not on this list. I think that it's kind of you know, kind of weird to
yeah.
see some of these names. I mean, Doctor Strange is an important character, and we saw him in the concept art leaks. So he's got to be a big player at some point. We also do not see Mark Ruffalo as Hulk in this either. Does that mean that Hulk is not going to be involved in Doomsday and we see him later? It's just a lot of questions
Yeah.
about people who weren't there. Again, this was not the whole cast. We know that. That's basically been confirmed, but there's still a lot of noticeable players absent in this reveal.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually have a list right here of a lot of people that were missed, just so we can kind of skim over. Don't have to spend too much time because you said a lot of them. Yeah, obviously from the X-Men, like Hugh Jackman and Storm are the big ones, but MCU, the biggest ones probably are Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland. We get none of the Hulks.
Hmm.
No Mark Ruffalo, not even She-Hulk. I
Nope.
forgot her name, but none of the Guardians. Literally none of
Oh
them.
yeah, Chris
And
Pratt
it
is on
said
there.
and it said Chris Pratt would return, and he's going to return, and he said that he will. But
Yep.
you really think you would see him? He's back on Earth.
Yep.
Um, yeah, no Doctor Strange, no Wong, so like nobody from that world. No, none of the Spider-Men. No Captain Marvel. No Don Cheadle as War Machine. Moon
Yeah, that's
Knight.
yep. Which
Ironheart, Nick Fury.
yeah, I will
None of
say
the
this real quick.
Hawkeyes.
I figured Moon Knight would be on there, but I do want to make it known that I was dying to see Oscar Isaac's name. I really, really wanted to see Moon Knight. Unfortunately, we do not get it. I don't think he'll be in either of these movies either. I don't even know if we'll see Moon Knight again, to be honest. We'll probably see him in some side projects, maybe like a Ghost Rider thing if we get it or something. It's just, I do not think we will see Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight again, which sucks because he's awesome. But I kind of figured that was the kind of the plan. But yeah, Chris Pratt is very interesting. None of the Guardians at all, not even like Rocket, Groot, none of them we don't see. Um, and I'm trying to think of any other names you said. From the shows, it's just kind of hard. You know who you're not going to see because they're kind of doing their own thing. But yeah, not seeing Miss Marvel and not seeing She-Hulk, who we
Neither
think
neither of
Hulk
the
is going to be a
Hawkeyes.
big player, right?
Yeah, yeah, neither of the Hawkeyes either.
Yeah,
No Sam Jackson, which is, kind of crazy.
yeah,
No Brie Larson. Don Cheadle's been in literally all of them. No
yeah,
Paul Bettany. No Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch.
yeah.
So,
Very interesting.
um, kind of wild. But as we've talked about, like things are gonna. It's obviously in the whole cast. Things are gonna continue to kind of get released and come out. But these obviously this was just a big stunt for Marvel to prove that they're still him and Marvel is still him.
Yeah, they did it. Yep.
I'm pumped for this movie. As much as this announcement pissed me off, you got me hyped for it, even though it's like over a year away. I trust the Russo brothers. Maybe their like non-Marvel stuff isn't the greatest, but they know how to do Marvel. The four of the top 10 are theirs. So
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's they're I'm so glad you get this massive like ridiculously long cast, and there's going to be even more. They've proven that they can handle it, and they can handle it greatly. So, yeah, really excited, really cool. I don't really know what this movie's going to be about. Kind of starting to like, I don't. Part of me kind of feels like maybe they're teasing like X-Men versus Avengers or something, dude. That would be crazy.
It would be crazy. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm gonna probably doubt this movie a lot the next couple of, the next year. Look, I trust the Russo brothers. I'm not even gonna say I don't. Endgame and Infinity War are some of the greatest like achievements, like to bring all those characters together. It's one of the craziest things that we've ever seen. Even in Civil War, when they did more than the second Avengers, they just added more. But there's a lot to get done in 12 months or 14 months, however many months that we have. And there's not a lot of movies slash projects between then. We don't even know what this story, the multiverse saga, is really shaping up to be. There's a lot of work to be done in Thunderbolts, which I don't think there's going to be much work done in Thunderbolts. So that leaves it to Fantastic Four. How much can Fantastic Four get done? So I'm gonna doubt this movie. It's not me hating. I love Marvel, love watching Marvel movies. There's just a lot of work to be done between here and now, and there's not enough projects to do it. The reason that made the Infinity Saga so good is because of the setup that we got years before it, and it all just felt really, really like worth it. This one just feels like a mess right now, and we don't know where half the characters are. We haven't seen them in years, and that's in real years, not Marvel years. So we have a lot to get done. I'm going to doubt this movie, and I want it to prove me wrong. I want that to be noted too. I want to be proven wrong. I want this movie to be so good, and I want the story to be so good, and I want this and Secret Wars to rival Infinity War and Endgame. I just don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot to be done, but we'll see. The Russo brothers are the people that can do it, and we've seen it before.
Yep.
So
Yep. No, I definitely like I don't want to get my hope. I'm obviously excited, but like I don't want to get my hopes too up there. But we'll just have to see. I mean, bro, Channing Tatum is coming back as Gambit. Like this is a W. It's gonna be
this is a
great.
W. Absolutely.
I really hope he has kind of a big role to play. That'll be sick.
You mean
So
to tell me we see Tina Cortez no more and Channing Tatum as Gambit in the same movie? You can sign me up. I'll be front row.
yeah, man, no for sure. So yeah, wild stunt, but I mean it worked out. So yeah, shout out Marvel. Doomsday coming next year. We will be there for sure.
Absolutely.
So that was like the biggest news of the week. We got a couple trailers we can kind of briefly go over.
Yeah.
We got a new trailer, or the first trailer for Leo's new movie, One Battle After Another, directed by the famous Paul Thomas Anderson, who has some heater movies. He's got one of like my kind of favorite like '90s movies ever is Boogie Nights. That he did. He's also got Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler. That's a good one. There Will Be Blood is iconic, and then like one of his more recent ones is Licorice Pizza, which was pretty good. Um, So I mean, he's a big actor or a big director, and then Leo obviously is Leo. So this is the first Leo movie since Killers of the Flower Moon, I think. I personally think of our generation, Leo is the best actor. I think of like previous generation, you would say De Niro probably, but I think Leo is like the dude, and he has been for a while now. Um, so I mean, I'm gonna be there. It looks like a interesting, fun movie. I can't entirely really tell what it's gonna be about, but Leo's great. He's really funny in the trailer, and Paul Thomas Anderson's a great director. Um, yeah, looks like it could be a fun time. What do you
Yeah,
think?
nah, Leo is goated for sure. He's in GOAT status. When I think about top five, top three actors of all time, Leo is either firmly in there or definitely discussed. Who cares how many awards he has? He kills it every time he's on screen. Killers of the Flower Moon, him in it, he is just so good. I love Leo, huge Leo fan. But yeah, no, this one looks interesting. There Will Be Blood is just a, I mean, come on, you literally cannot. I can't think of many like acting performances that you get that is just so emotional. When he's saying, I've abandoned my child, I've abandoned. I mean, dude, that's iconic. Um, I
Never
will
seen
say
it.
this. What?
Never seen it.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm not gonna hate you for that. It's just one that you definitely need to watch. You'll love it. Daniel Day-Lewis, I believe, is the main
Yep.
character. I think he won an Oscar for it, if I'm not dumb. I think he did. Maybe I don't remember. But no, great movie. Leo is going to kill it. He is absolutely hilarious. I laughed multiple times in the trailer. It's got an interesting premise, something about a resistance that he's fighting for, looking for his daughter and
Yep.
also
That's
other
what I
people
got
are
right
after
here.
him. So that looks pretty good. And if Leo's in it, I will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. One battle after another, a former member of a revolutionary group seeks help from other revolutionaries to find his missing daughter. It's got him,
Benicio del
Sean
Toro.
Penn, Benicio del Toro,
Yep.
Regina Hall.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple other people. So we're excited. We love Leo. He's one of the greatest actors of all time, if
Easily.
not like the best of this generation. So we will be there for sure. That comes out in September. And then the other trailer that we got this week was the newest trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines, which comes out in May. So like less than 2 months away. Um, I mean, pretty good trailer. It just looks like typical Final Destination stuff. Basically, instead of it being a more of a random story, which I feel like a lot of them are, it's just random characters. It's like based off a mistake that a woman made, long ago, and then her family is suffering the
Hmm.
repercussions, further down the road. Looks like some pretty wild deaths and stuff, and you got you saw like the glass go in the ice and everything, and them jumping on the trampoline with like the tools under it, and just typical Final Destination stuff. Looks like it'll be a fun time. I love those movies. Tony Todd, I'm assuming it's probably one of his last roles ever because he died last year. R.I.P. Maybe even died this year. He died really recently. But he makes his return. So yeah, no, it looks like a good entry to the Final Destination movies. Do you like those too, right?
I like them, but dude, it literally makes you second guess about walking through your door outside on the daily. I just don't
It'll make you
understand.
scared, bro.
And they do stupid things that people use every day. You take a shower every day, and that dude like gets hung with the wire. You get the escalator, you get the roller coaster, you get drinking a drink and having glass in your ice. I mean, where did they come up with this stuff? What?
Driving down the road with behind a
Yeah,
truck of logs, like
going to a tanning bed. I mean, you could go on and on and on. These movies just make me kind of sick because how do you think of this? Where do you like, what is the point of all this? And it's
I don't know
just,
how they come up with.
the stories usually aren't like the greatest. I think they're just pretty straightforward, but this one looks like it could be a little bit more interesting than the other movies, so I'm kind of excited to see where they go. I will probably be this is a movie not because it's scary, it's just because they come up with just like gruesome.
It's just gory.
The gymnastics scene still makes me like want to throw up every time
Yeah.
I see it. So I'll probably be watching through my eyes, but I will be watching, and it's just sometimes they just get a little bit like, how did you even come up with that? These people are up, okay? Like I don't know where they get this stuff, and they just get off on it, and they're gonna keep making these movies, and I'm gonna keep going to see them, even though I will be watching like this.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. No, it's
please,
movies like that and Saw with like super gory,
yeah.
realistic deaths that like get you. That's why I love them so much. So, yeah, no, that comes out in like less than 2 months. Trailer looked cool. Looks like it could be an interesting story. So, we'll just have to see. I just hope it's better than The Monkey because that movie sucked ass. All right, so those are our two trailers and the Marvel news. So now we're gonna jump into stuff we've actually been watching. As we've talked about the last couple weeks, we're gonna recap Daredevil. We're gonna recap Daredevil. We ate good this week. We got 2 episodes of Daredevil this week.
Hmm.
Uh, two, I mean, really good episodes. This season still doesn't really have any misses so far for me, anyways. Um, yeah, so we can just jump right into it. The first episode was super disconnected from the main story so far up to this point, which I really thought was handled well. You know, every show is going to have filler episodes. Not every show is going to have good filler episodes, but this was a great, in my opinion, filler episode. So basically, you get a bank heist episode that has nothing to do with anything really. Um, Matt goes to the bank to get a loan for his company or whatever. And we get a big MCU cameo. We get Yusuf Khan at the bank. It's Kamala Khan's father, who we've seen a couple times now. He's at the bank. He has to deny Matt his loan, and Matt's leaving. And then he hears that that bank is about to be, robbed. So he goes back in, and then, you know. Um, so yeah, so the bank's getting robbed. Matt's just trapped in there, and it's just I mean, it's a heist episode. It was so cool. I didn't think we would get like a bank heist episode of Daredevil this season, which was not like, you know, it just wasn't connected to anything, but it was still super duper cool. So yeah, so I mean, nothing really major that I can think of other than like you get some really cool stuff with Matt, like tricking them and beating the shit out of them as he usually does. And this time he's all like it's cool to see him like do it all in his lawyer gear and his suit and everything. Um, he's able to get into the vault because he can hear and he gets the diamond or whatever. And then after the bank heist is over, like he goes and just absolutely curb stomps a dude's leg the into the deepest, darkest depths of the earth. He just absolutely bodied that guy's leg. So not a really crazy important episode, but I thought it was really cool. Did you like it? Did you think it was a good filler episode?
Yeah, as far as filler episodes go, usually they're like boring and you don't really care. This one is just like, look, Matt he still got it. Like he is going in there. He doesn't even, it's right place, right time for him, wrong place, wrong time for everybody else, of course. But no, he's there, and I think that like the cool thing about this episode is that it really showcases like his ability just with like his super hearing senses. Yeah, I was
Yep.
exactly. No, when he's breaking through the vault to when he's listening to conversations to anything as simple as listening to heartbeats, man. He's awesome at that. He is very cool. I think that's one thing that Born Again has done very well for his character. I just think it's really cool. I agree with you. I like seeing it in the suit. We don't you don't see it really in the Netflix series at all. Very rarely, if any, not that any like come to mind. But no, you see it here, and it's cool to see Yusuf Khan, and he makes a little cameo to oh she's in California, teasing the Young Avengers, which is cool, I guess. But that's where they say, hey, this is our MCU tie-in. We actually don't care about anything else. This is going to be your MCU tie-in and our filler episode and he's gonna be that's all you're gonna get. Um yeah, as far as filler episodes go, it's very good compared to other filler episodes. I will say this. This reminds me of like a SVU episode or a Criminal Minds episode that your typical heist, you have the people inside that you're getting their story. You have the bank robber is getting his story, and then you have like the outside. These are we need to get his demands. We're stalling for time. We're trying not to let people go in. This is like typical crime heist episode. This is like exactly what you see in everything else. So it's not groundbreaking, but when you put it in the context of a filler episode for Daredevil, that's where it kind of is like, oh, this is interesting. Still good components to where like Matt is interesting, a really good character, and they get a happy ending per se with the little subtle flex
Diamond.
where he grabs candy and Yusuf looks in there and it's the freaking diamond. So just the casual flex, and he also does drop the line again of "I'm a really good lawyer," and he really is. He is a really good lawyer.
Yep, yep. And so I'm assuming now he's gonna get that bank loan for sure. So no, really cool filler episode. Nothing super important probably to the series, but you just kind of get to see how OP he really is. And I think this episode showed it really well. And then you jump right into the next episode, which is really back into the main story. You get a lot of Fisk and you get a lot of Matt. And you get a lot more Muse this episode. You kind of learn what Muse has been doing. There's all these like crazy murals and things popping up around the city, and they can't remove them because they do a test on it, and all of the paint has blood mixed in with it, making it like pretty much impossible to remove. So they kind of figure out, they learn about Muse and that he's been doing this, and so everyone's kind of looking for him. Even Fisk like assembles a little task force of like the dirty cops, to go and hunt for him. I think it's literally an anti-vigilante task force that he calls it. Um, and then you get stuff with Matt. Obviously, like you can tell, throughout this whole season and this episode in particular, like he's really wrestling with like whether or not he needs to come back as Daredevil. He really doesn't want to, but then like the legal system and the like the cops and everything, like nothing is working out. Nobody's doing their job. Everything's just continuing to go to shit. And he's been wrestling with that. And um while like this really didn't happen until like the last 10 minutes of the episode. The whole like first chunk was obviously about more so about Muse and everything, but um, the last like 10 minutes is when he's like you really see like he's about to snap. He's about to snap, and he kind of figures out where Muse is, and he's going to call the cops. And as he's doing it, she answers, and he just puts the phone down, and he says, "Fuck it." And then he goes to his roof to get his suit, and then you see him swinging through the city with the awesome Daredevil theme music playing. And then you get him running through the underground into Muse's lair, and just awesome fight sequence between him and Muse.
Yep.
You see Muse has captured BB Urich because she was doing some investigating.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah.
Ayala, the daughter, the niece.
Wait, you're right. Yeah, yeah. It
Yep.
wasn't BB Urich. Yep, the
Yep.
niece.
Yep.
But yeah, awesome fight between him and Muse, and then you also like at the same exact time you're getting the fist fight between him and Adam. Basically, he gives Adam an axe and is like, come on.
A
And
really cool monologue right before he starts it too.
oh
Like
yeah,
he walks down and basically is like, "Look, I had guys triple my size when I was younger, just beat the shit out of me, and I had to learn to get tough." He grabs the axe, he throws it into Adam, and he says, "It really does even the playing field, and it's a simple item that does that." And he throws him the axe. I just really like that from Kingpin. I just think it's a very cool little subtle like, look, like I'm gonna give you a chance to fight your way out of this, but deep down, Fisk knows that he is going to beat the life out of him. He just knows it. Adam stands no chance. He even makes a comment like, Vanessa would probably really want me to set you free. And Adam's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And he said, I don't even remember the exact line, but it's something like, I couldn't live with myself if I did that. But yes, the parallel between
yep,
him and Daredevil going at it, and it's merciless. I mean, Wilson Fisk is beating this dude, and that dude can't even get a hit on him. At least Muse gets a couple licks in. At least that one is a little bit more fair. But even then, when Fisk is pounding this dude's head in, at the same time Daredevil is choking Muse out. Like the difference between them two really comes down to like Fisk is doing this out of hatred and spite and all of that. And at the exact same time, Matt is listening to the heartbeats of the niece, or the niece. Sorry, not Denise, but the niece. And he's like, I gotta let this guy go. I could easily kill him. I could stay here and choke him out, but I would lose her. I'm not going to do that. That's not what I stand for. And remember, the prayer is playing over as he's doing that, which I find really, really cool because Daredevil, of course, has the Catholic like
Background.
roots, and that is his like basis of the character, which
Yeah.
is awesome. They keep this in here. That's a soapbox. Sorry, I'll get off. But yes,
No, you're good. No.
um,
Yeah, no, like we talk about like the whole show's been about like Matt kind of coming to terms with who he really is and like, does he want Daredevil to really be a part of him? And the same exact thing is going on with Fisk. Like Fisk obviously like isn't right, but like you can tell he's trying to maintain his good image and do everything correctly so he can, actually try to make some difference as a mayor. But you can tell like both of their pasts are and who they truly are like slowly eating at them.
yeah,
And this show has done a great job of like mirroring their journeys.
yeah,
And then they both kind of come back into themselves at the end of this episode at the
yeah,
same time. It's literally jumping back and forth between both of their fight sequences. It's so cool. And you can also tell like kind of a physical transformation of Fisk. We noted it a couple weeks ago, like I mean, he's not near as big as he had been in the past.
right,
And Vanessa goes to put his jacket on him and it doesn't fit. She makes a point like, you're getting bigger, your suit's getting smaller. So it's kind of like, he's like literally turning back into the old, Wilson Fisk. He's getting bigger again and he's going back into his like evil ways and his violent ways, his violent nature. And same with Matt. Like it's just been eating at him this whole show. And then they both finally give into it. And
yeah,
I told you I started clapping like an idiot during the second episode, and it's when like Matt put the phone down and just said "fuck
yeah,
it," and
yeah.
then
That is,
he went to the roof, dude. That
yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah, no, a really cool scene. Again, Charlie Cox kills it. Yeah, no, I'm with you. The parallels between theirs two, you don't even, descent is like not a good word, but it's like retransformation back into who we know them to be. And it's both like they are trying so hard to just keep it down. Like, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to turn back into Kingpin. I'm not going to be Daredevil. There's right ways to do this. And both of them are being thrown into the heat just constantly. And every episode, you're like, how much longer can they keep this up? Like, how much longer can they go without like freaking the hell out? And this episode, there's no more. I mean, Kingpin walks down the stairs about the same time as Matt says "fuck it." Like it is just like there it's happening at the same time. Now where this goes from here, we only have a couple episodes left, dude. Like this is like getting to the point at the end of season one. I feel like there's some answers that need to be or there's questions that need to be answered. This is going to come to a head between the two of them at some point. It may not even be this season because we do have Muse lurking in the background, who I thought held his own, and he's a really, really interesting character. He is siphoning blood to do like
Yeah.
you can call it politically based art. He really does not like Kingpin. We can see that. But at the deep, like 60 victims they're talking about, they're getting like 5 DNA samples per mural. That's gross. He's a freak. But yeah, no, he's a very interesting character. I really hope we get a couple more fight scenes because his was cool, but you could tell Daredevil was way over. He was overmatching Muse. And I don't know if that Muse was obviously shocked to see Daredevil running at him in the train shadow. He was probably like, "Holy shit, who is that?" But no, yeah, maybe hopefully they'll get more of a fair fight. But yeah, this one is definitely like a parallel between Kingpin and Dare and Matt. Or I really want to say Daredevil. It's Kingpin and Daredevil coming back. We're getting Matt back in the suit. We're getting Kingpin getting back, like you said, the physical transformation. This is stuff that we literally dream about. I mean, this is what we want. This is what we asked for. And we're getting two really, really good characters who are trying so hard to keep it like buried, but at some point you're going to break and your character's going to show through. And you can see the difference in the characters too. Like you can see that at the end when Kingpin is you can say whatever you want. It really does look like he's satisfied and he understands like what he does and he's not going to regret it. As Daredevil is saving a little girl from being killed, and that's the difference between those two.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome, awesome episode. I will say I think um costume design of Muse is like up there with best of the MCU. Dude, he looks so good.
Yeah, he does.
His costume looks so good. Like genuinely creepy.
Yep.
I do hope maybe we get more of a little backstory or like kind of figure out his motivation. You know, maybe he's just a pure psychopath. You know, we got that teaser of him without the mask in one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah,
But I'm kind of curious to maybe see his like alter ego and like why
absolutely.
the way he is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it looks like we got some awesome episodes coming up. It's going to end with a bang. They're both finally back into full form, so we're probably going to be getting a lot more like actual, Daredevil stuff and Kingpin stuff. John Bernthal's obviously coming back. We've seen teasers of him. He's all freshly shaven and got his Punisher gear on. So like it's gonna be an awesome last couple weeks for sure. So very very excited for that. Yeah, Daredevil's great. Literally has been no misses so far. It's been
Yep.
everything we both wanted. Really really loving it. So shout out Daredevil. Then yeah, we get another episode in 2 days. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped. So that's Daredevil. And this is the first week in a while we haven't got to talk Severance, which
Yeah.
sucks. But Apple TV knew what they were doing. They knew people would be sad, so they gave us another show, a new show, and that is The Studio with Seth Rogen, amongst a whole lot of other people. But it is Seth Rogen's show, and it's basically just a show about Seth Rogen, and he basically becomes the head of this studio, and just all of the little. I don't know if there's going to be like a an overarching storyline over it, maybe kind of, but like you could see how the second episode wasn't really related to the first episode. So um it might just be like different little things that he has to deal with as the new studio head. But um I gotta say right off rip, I haven't even really talked to you that much about it. I think this show is fantastic. I the first episode, like where you kind of getting like the vibe of the show, like what it's going to be like. Dude, it is so funny. I like was almost borderline crying laughing at several points throughout the episode. They're doing pretty long takes, which is really looks really impressive, and it's got a huge cast. You got Seth Rogen and Bryan Cranston, and the show part it starts with Paul Dano, um, and you get Scorsese in there, and Catherine Hahn, and
I don't know. Hera.
Catherine O'Hara, yeah. Just a lot of big names, and uh, basically, like he's just become this new head of the studio, and he's just gonna have to deal with a lot of shit. And I think that's what the show's gonna be about, and kind of show like what it's like to be the head of a movie studio. It's gonna have all kinds of insane cameos. We've already gotten an insane cameo, or a couple. So yeah, yeah, nah, dude. What did you think of it? And then we'll kind of dive into the episodes.
Yeah, no, dude. Even watched it with Cameron. Cameron actually was laughing as well. She was enjoyed it a ton. I actually thought that she might not. But no, she enjoyed it a ton. She was laughing. We were laughing as a whole. I do love Seth Rogen. He is absolutely hilarious. And the second episode had me rolling, man. Secondhand embarrassment, cringing, laughing. It is just really, really funny. But at the end of the day, this is he's playing a guy that just really likes movies. He loves movies. He loves all kinds of movies, but he kind of wants to be more towards that. They want to be Oscar winners, but at the same time make a
They want
lot
to
of
make
money.
money.
And like everybody wants to do that, right? But no, he really puts it into perspective. The studio he works for kind of just wants to make billions of dollars, which he's like, okay, well, we can do that, making really good movies. But no, the people around him are yes men, it feels like, to Bryan Cranston's character. And then his best friend, he really wanted the job, but he's like loyal to Seth. It's funny. In the two cameos we got, I mean, Scorsese right off the bat is just hilarious. He is actually really funny. And that whole thing with him at the party. Um, towards the end of the episode had me rolling as well. No, it's really awesome. I think it is okay. I do want to say this, and this is why I love like the different types of shows we've been watching, right? The Bear, because we compared it to the Bear in a movie studio. You said that, and I agree with you absolutely. The difference between the Bear and the studio is the Bear does well on cuts, right? Back and forth with the camera. This one acts like you are there in the room, going back and forth, watching them argue. So good. It's simple. It is not even like we say, like it's not groundbreaking. This has been done before. They do it really, really well. Seth Rogen going back and forth with everybody. You can't make it up. It really is good. Seth Rogen is awesome. Catherine O'Hara made me laugh multiple times in that second episode. And just the secondhand embarrassment from the second episode is just I
No, dude,
still am like,
it was the first one for me. So,
ugh.
yeah, we can kind of jump into the what each episode is about. So the first one is like when he's becoming the new head of the studio. Bryan
Yeah,
Cranston's
basically
character,
gets the job.
yeah, he gets the job pretty early on, and Bryan Cranston's like, all right, due to the success of Barbie 2 years ago, like clearly people love brands and movies about brands, and the brand that they now want to make a movie about is Kool-Aid, which is just really random, but really funny. It sounds like a movie that will actually probably get made one day, a Kool-Aid Man movie.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really cool how they're like referencing real world things. Like they're talking about the success of Barbie and like how crazy and unexpected that was. So they're trying to replicate that.
yeah,
And Seth Rogen's like, we can make a great movie like Barbie. Barbie was nominated for Oscars. We can be nominated for Oscars. They're not really focused on that. They just want to make a $2 billion.
yeah.
And so like Bryan Cranston's like, we need you to find a director soon, like ASAP for this Kool-Aid movie. And about that time, he has a meeting set up with Scorsese because Scorsese wants to pitch him a movie that he has written. And Scorsese is pitching him this movie, and he's like, all right, I want to make a movie about Jonestown. And before Seth Rogen even like put it together, as soon as Scorsese said Jonestown, I immediately was like, "Oh my God, Kool-Aid!" Like, it's genius, bro. I was literally crying on my couch as soon as he said Jonestown. I was like, "No, no way!" And then Seth Rogen puts it together, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, this is perfect. We can make this movie. One thing though, it has to be called Kool-Aid."
Scorsese loves it.
He loves the idea. He buys it from him and he goes back to the studio and he tells them, and they're just like, dude, what the hell? We cannot make a movie about this. We cannot make this movie called Kool-Aid about what happened in Jonestown. Actually though, that would be a hella interesting movie, a Jonestown movie. Just gonna throw that out there. But
Folklore.
not, dude. As soon as, of course, as he said Jonestown, I lost it. Like I'm cracking up just now thinking about it. And so Seth Rogen's trying to like figure out a way to like merge the two together, and everyone's just like, "You cannot do this." And Bryan Cranston is like, "What's going on?" And Seth Rogen just going completely back on what he like originally had planned, and he just basically goes back into the, "All right, we're just gonna make a stupid Kool-Aid movie," because Bryan Cranston's breathing down his neck. It's so funny, dude. Their character interactions and everything in the offices are so funny. And um, then at the end of the episode, he has to go back to Scorsese and be like, "Look, like, no, we're not letting you make the movie." And he's like, "Well, I already sold you the script." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What? Can I have my script back?" And he was like, Seth Rogen was like, "Nope, yeah, sorry." And then he just leaves. That's when I got secondhand embarrassment. Dude, Scorsese, why is he such a good actor? I mean, I guess he's been directing for so long, he just
Yeah.
knows how to do it.
He
Um,
probably is just playing himself, honestly. Yeah, no.
yeah.
I
Um,
definitely get secondhand embarrassment from that one, and especially when he meets Steve Buscemi in the hallway, like walking out. Me and Cameron,
and
like, what are the
Charlize
odds?
Theron.
What are the odds the first person you see is Martin Scorsese and the second is Buscemi? And of course, Martin Scorsese goes to Charlize Theron, and he's like basically like kick him out, and she walks over and she's like, you can fucking leave. Like, I'm just, it's like, okay, yep, we're leaving. But no, it's hilarious. Um, I mean, Bryan Cranston said it best. He was like, "Well, you can't let our Kool-Aid movie coincide with the release of Jonestown, where they all drink Kool-Aid in
And
a
die.
mass suicide attempt." And he's like, but then like Seth Rogen's trying to play it off like, "Yeah, I bought the script, so he can't make the movie." But all of the whole audience knows like, yeah, that was not why you bought the script. You were gonna pitch it as Kool-Aid, but. Yeah, no, it's hilarious, dude. We were rolling. Seth Rogen is so damn funny and so damn awkward and so damn like everything. He's so good. But yeah, we can roll into the second episode, literally called The Oneer. He has a act or a director wanting to shoot a oneer, and him and I don't even know the dude's name. His
Friend,
best friend.
I literally just looked it up a second ago. He's in a ton of stuff with Seth Rogen. I can think of like the Neighbors movies and some other stuff.
Yeah,
Ike Barinholtz.
yeah.
He's in a lot of Rogan stuff, and that dude is hilarious.
Yes. So they're riding together in his like old convertible, and he's like, "Oh, park down here," and Seth is like, "No, I'm the studio head. Like, I'm gonna park up here by the mansion that they're filming in." And basically, this movie is just a literal take on a oneer at the end of the film. And, before they walk in, Catherine O'Hara and Ike, whatever his last name, I don't really care anymore, is just like, please do not just like shut up and let her work. Like, shut up, don't talk to her, don't freak her out, don't do any of that. Just let her work, just let her do her thing. Seth is like, oh, you won't even know I'm here. You won't even know I'm here. And just throughout the episode, you can kind of get a sense that he has read the script, like he's obviously like helping produce it. He's giving the film money, and he's like, "What if you did this? What if you did this? What if you did this?" And the thing that comes to mind is let her smoke the joint at the end of the movie because I love bookends. And the director is like trying to give him the time of day, like, "Yeah, I mean, I hear you. You know what? Let's try it."
Because she wants something out of
Yeah,
him too.
yeah. She wants the extra
Song.
850,000 or something for the song. Yeah. And Seth is like, yo, just do this. So they try it, and it just every stupid thing imaginable to not let this oneer because like as y'all know, in a oneer, it's just constantly throughout. You can't cut, you don't cut. And she says that I do not want to do these fake cuts, and it's from whispering in the background that she hears in an earpiece to Seth Rogen walking out of the bathroom to greet her in the middle of the scene to I mean, dude, the joint going out, something as simple as that. And the funniest one is that you kind of forget that this happened, but they literally get to the whole oneer. She's getting in the car to drive down the driveway to be through with the oneer. And mind you, this whole scene is supposed to happen at sunset. So there's a limited time that is supposed to be happening. And she gets in the car and she's like, oh, great. And why'd she stop? Why'd she stop? And everybody remembers at that time that that dude parked in the driveway, so she can't even leave. And he can't find his keys, and like he's like freaking out. And dude, it is just so funny. It is so, dude, I don't know how you got more secondhand embarrassment from the first episode than this one, because
I mean,
every
it
single
both.
time it was his fault.
Yeah. Nah, dude. It was such a good episode, and you didn't even mention the fact this whole episode
Is a
was a
wonder.
winner.
Yes, yes.
Was a winner. And I mentioned it in the first episode too. Like the first episode, there. I mean, I feel like what 45, 50 minute episode. I feel like it was only like probably 5 or 6 camera cuts in that first episode too. You
Yeah,
can tell they're making this show like long, very long takes, and they're doing a really good job at it. And this whole episode was like 25 minutes, was a oneer.
yeah,
So it was a oneer about a oneer, which is funny. But yeah, dude, no, it's so funny. Everything kept going wrong. Everybody's just kissing his ass. Um, Even Greta Lee is kissing his ass, trying to get a jet,
yeah,
and the director, and they're all trying to get something out of him. And then the director eventually kind of just snaps at him at the end, and the whole thing with the car and them having to leave. And then the episode actually ends on the song that she wanted. You can't
yeah,
always you want by the
yeah.
Rolling Stones. So I mean, yeah, dude, I I love it. I mean, I love stuff that is about movies. as I know you do too. Um, and I mean, it's literally The Bear about a movie studio. Like
Yep.
the greatest show of the last 5 years about like a version of that about a movie studio, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's
Yep.
insane. So, um, literally the first two episodes were fantastic. I cannot wait to watch this every week. I love how just much different stuff we're getting. We had Severance, which is like a mind-bending thriller, and then you get Daredevil, which is our superhero content, and then we get a comedy like this. So, incredible show. It was everything I wanted it to be and more.
Yep.
Very, very funny, great acting performances, lots of cool cameos. So, it looks like it's going to be an awesome show. Definitely excited to tune into that every week. So, yeah, we'll continue to talk about that and Daredevil as well. And then, yeah, so that kind of wraps up our talk there. We both loved it. And then we had one more show that we both watched we wanted to talk about. We both watched Adolescence or finished it. I know you had already started it before the last episode, but you actually finished it this past week, and I finished it yesterday. Um, yeah, so let's just kind of jump into it. It's like the number one show on Netflix right now. It's getting a lot of talk. A lot of people are talking about it on Twitter and everything. So. Um, what are kind of your thoughts on it? You briefly talked about it last week, but now that we've both watched the whole thing, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'll start with this. This is like a really, really cool concept. By the way, if you are looking for a show that gives you nothing at the end to make you happy or anything, this is not the show for you. It gives you no closure. It basically is heart, it rips your heart out. I want to say this. If you do not like dialogue, do not watch this show. This show is built on character dialogue and relationships and tension, created in one room. It is really, really incredible the way that they did this. It is at times slow. I will say this. At times it is slow. I'm not gonna sit here and say like every piece of dialogue reels you in. It just doesn't. It's just not the way that it is. Also, the way that it's shot as a oneer, all four episodes.
Every episode.
And come on, dude, that is an elite. That is a something that they need to be very proud of because it does not feel like condensed, man. It feels like a whole story that they do in one shot. It really does, and they do such a good job because all four episodes are taking place kind of in like a separate setting.
Setting.
So you get the first episode being majority police station. Second episode is at the school. The third episode is in the psychologist room, and the fourth episode is basically the
Kind of their home.
family at the home. I'm gonna say this. I thought that the person who stole the show for me was going to be the kid that plays Jamie. The dad, unbelievable performance in the fourth episode. Guys, I'm not kidding. It might be one of the fucking best performances I've seen in one episode in my life. He is incredible. I think his name's Sean Graham, Stephen Graham, something like that.
Stephen Graham. Yep.
Dude, he made me he made me bawl the last 5 minutes. He in that room when he walks in, I have never seen somebody just portray emotion, grief, disappointment, sadness, everything in one scene. He gets on that bed and he tucks the teddy bear in while he's sobbing. Chills,
Yeah.
goosebumps. Literally one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life. I'm not kidding.
No.
It
Yeah.
is does not give you a second to be happy in this film, and when you do feel it, it changes in 10 seconds. It is a heartbreaking story. Nothing happy happens. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie that there's redeemable qualities for any of the characters. I don't know what they were going for initially, but I know why everybody's talking about it. It is
Yeah.
shot like nothing before. We've really never seen a whole show be just oneers. Every episode is just one shot. You don't see that. Nobody does that. And dialogue is so important. And it really does feel like none of the dialogue is forced. It feels like they're actually having conversations. You don't
Yeah.
get that anymore.
Yeah.
And then the last episode is just,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. No. I also um up until the last episode. the clear MVP in the first couple episodes for me was the kid. I looked his name up. His name's Owen Cooper.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Incredible kid
Yes.
performance.
Yes.
You can't have a good show like this unless you have an A1 10 out of 10 performance from that character, and he
Hmm.
kills it.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I think all of the kids, even in the school episode, like all of the kids were very solid acting performances.
Absolutely.
Um, they were all great, and then his like interrogation episode is just was really cool, and he
Yeah.
was really good in that. But yeah, dude, then you get to that last episode, and you don't really like the whole show. You don't really think about the dad too much, other than a little bit in the first episode, and then you spend this final episode with him, and the last like 20-25 minutes when he just breaks, dude. And then he's just sobbing in his bedroom, and he tucks in the little bear. Like I texted y'all as soon as I finished it yesterday or whatever day it was, and I was like, dude, like that was the most heartbreaking thing I'd ever seen. And it just ends. It
Yeah.
just ends. Um, unreal show. Like the idea of it, and like the obviously the way it was shot. Whenever I see oneers, I try to like tell where they actually doing the little cuts. I don't think
Not in
they
this
did,
show.
dude.
Not in this
I
show.
don't think they did.
I'm
Like,
almost positive. I remember tweets coming out about the third episode that they did it like quickly. It was like three takes that
yeah,
this kid on the first take, they said killed it. Like there was a couple things that they didn't like, so they reshot it. But that one took like the least amount of time, and that's the one that I felt like would have taken the most time.
yeah. Nah, dude, it's unreal. It's a technical feat. It's funny we kind of talked about like two oneers this episode, but I mean, and they're each an hour long. Like the studio's oneer, that was only a 25-minute episode.
Yeah,
And you could clearly kind of see some like where they, cut in that one.
absolutely.
Um, in this show, every episode, I could not tell
No,
once where
I
they
was trying
cut.
to
I
look.
don't think they did. I really don't think
I
they
don't.
did.
They might not have.
But fantastic action performances from everyone. Owen Cooper, and then the dad, Stephen Graham, bro. Like literally, like you said, one of the best, most heartbreaking acting performances I've probably ever seen in the last like 15 minutes of the show.
I also want to say this, like as the show as a whole, there's not a single one bad acting performance. Everyone does their dialogue with purpose and their emotions with purpose. This is one where you say this might be one of the best acted series ever.
Yep.
You can look at a lot of them. I mean, there's so many have come out. Definitely limited series. You're putting this towards the top, acting wise. The story does get a little slow in each episode. It seems like there's some where you're like, okay, like when is this going to like the last episode, nothing like the only thing that really happens story related is like Jamie calling and saying I'm pleading guilty, and then that like literally is a wave of emotions through the rest of the last like 15 minutes. So
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, I mean, unbelievable show. Very dark, not a happy show at all. I honestly like, even though you saw the video in the first episode, I honestly didn't know if he did it
no, you don't. You
until he
literally
calls at the end and he's like, "All right, I think I'm
yeah.
gonna plead guilty."
Yeah, and so you can even take that with a grain of salt because like when you do that, like that doesn't mean he's guilty. He just is getting off better if he were to just plead guilty. Like he's getting a deal. So that he might not even done it, but like the evidence is stacked against you. You don't have an alibi. You don't like and they don't have the
In
murder
that
weapon.
video, I
Yeah,
mean,
the
look,
video is damning, but you don't see him kill her. You don't know. We don't know.
yeah, it's
We
kind of
might never know.
ambiguous. But yeah, no, really good show, fueled by incredible acting performances and incredible directing. Everyone should go check it out. Not for the faint of heart, but really impressive stuff. All right, so that is Adolescence. Unbelievable show. Everyone go check it out. And that kind of wraps up all of our TV shows talk for the week. It's Daredevil, the Studio, and Adolescence. So a lot of good TV stuff out for everyone. So everyone's got something to enjoy. Um, and now we're going to jump into our movie review for the week, the one that we both checked out. I actually saw it about a week ago on a super early screening, and I know you just saw it yesterday. We're going to be talking about A24's new movie, Death of a Unicorn, starring Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, Will Poulter, and a handful of others. Um, have not talked to you about this movie at all. I don't know your thoughts other than what you said on Twitter, and I didn't say anything last week. So, yeah, I'm excited to jump into it. Definitely a very different, unique movie. I can't think of the last movie really involving unicorns to an important extent ever. So, definitely unique. And yeah, so we can just let's just jump right into it. Um, I kind of want to hear your thoughts first. I want to hear what you thought about it. It was very weird. It was very different, but it was really funny. And I think that's something we probably both agree on. And we can talk about like who we thought, were the best parts. But yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, it was definitely different. Not like a bad different or anything. I definitely walked out of the theater having enjoyed myself. I didn't think it was a bad movie at all. Do I think there were some things that, were like not great? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a perfect movie at all. I do think Jenna Ortega was like really good in this movie. Her character is likable, I think. I know that probably some people are like, "Oh, she's whiny or whatever," but no, I actually did think she was pretty good in this movie. I think Paul Rudd was not great in this movie, actually. His character was not redeemable in any way. He was not likable, and even the redeeming part where they try to make his character likable at the end, at that point, I just didn't care anymore because he was a bad father for most of the time. Um, I like the supernatural aspect of the unicorn and how it really drove the story. Nobody really knew too much about it. Even the healing factor wasn't known immediately.
Hmm.
We see Jenna Ortega's acne healed. We see Paul Rudd's vision cleared. And then finally, that's when they're like, oh, let's use the horn or the unicorn blood to heal other stuff. This is obviously a dig at big pharmaceuticals trying to just like poach anything that they can find, and then the real like part you're like, oh yeah, this is like definitely a shot is just like them being, oh, we have limited supply, let's get the people who are either the richest or are going to pay the most for this treatment. So yeah, obviously a dig there, which I thought was funny. They really played into it with the characters and even Paul Rudd's character trying to stay in the business and try to make as much money as possible. His reasoning is to just take care of his daughter, which is understandable. The wife died, whatever. Um, but just some parts I didn't like. I didn't think Paul Rudd's character was particularly good. I didn't like his character. He was not redeemable. Even at the end, I was like, okay, whatever. They tried to like piece it together with the heartwarming moment at the end, especially with the unicorns running aside the police cars at the end, which you knew what was going to happen. But I just just not interested in really that whole father-daughter relationship as much as I was like the unicorns are trying to kill them. Let's try to figure out a way to um, incorporate that into the story. So the father-daughter relationship was just not really important to me. I understand the point of it, but like I didn't really care. Does that make sense? I guess. Um,
Yeah,
Jenna Ortega is good. Will Poulter is actually really, really funny in this movie. He, especially when he starts snorting the unicorn horn, and he's like, "I'm a genius. It's going straight up here." It is just funny. I was shocked because, like, at first, I kind of didn't know the motivation of when he kind of left his mom to die the brutal way. I was kind of shocked at that for a second. Because I thought he was just going to shoot and blow everything up, but obviously he wanted to keep the unicorn intact. But again, you don't know that, and I'm like, oh God. And the bald dude, I don't know his real name.
I literally, yeah, no. Whenever I talked, I was gonna give my spill on him. His name is Anthony Kerrigan.
Yeah, no,
He's like the butler or whatever.
yeah, he is hilarious. Just
Hilarious, bro.
one-liners out the ass. He is really not intriguing, but like he is intriguing in the part of like his comedy is funny, well timed. He obviously is sick of just being ordered around by especially Will Poulter's character. But he doesn't have like any intention to just kill them, like which is I thought would happen. No, he is funny. I got Nugget here in the background now. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, no, just. I'll give my score in a minute, but like there were some like I thought it was very funny. I thought the supernatural play into the unicorns was funny. I thought the deaths were interesting, and I thought the tie-in to like the art was very cool too. I don't even, is that if that's real art? I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up and look at it, but no, the kind of like medieval like this just happens again and again and again. I like that part of the story. There's just other parts that I did not care about, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, like I said from the jump, very unique and different movie. I will say before I kind of dive into my thoughts, I did not enjoy this as much as I thought I was going to. I thought it was going to be a lot more violent, and it is violent, but like none of the deaths really were that shocking to me. Maybe one or two. Will Poulter's getting kicked in the face was the funniest for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get, I didn't really get any, I don't think any of the deaths were that crazy or that gory. Maybe I've just seen way too many messed up movies with
Yeah, man,
ridiculous deaths.
you're numb to
I'm
it.
numb to it. So, but yeah, no, Paul Rudd's character was not particularly interesting. I thought I didn't love Jenna Ortega's performance here, honestly. I know you said you did. I didn't personally. The MVPs for me were Will Poulter 100%.
Mm.
Literally every line delivery he has, like had my theater laughing.
Yeah.
Dude, he is awesome. He is so
Yeah, we
so
see him again
funny.
soon too. 2 weeks we see him again.
Yeah, no, in
And not
Warfare,
a funny role. So
completely different role.
yeah.
Just realized Adam Warlock isn't in Avengers Doomsday, so that sucks. But anyways, um, no, dude, Will Poulter, you really get to see a funny side of him, and dude is hilarious. You haven't really seen him be that funny since We're the Millers, and that was a while ago, and he was a lot younger. Um,
He was
Unreal.
ugly back then.
And then the Butler guy, Anthony Carrigan, the
Yeah.
bald guy. I've seen him in other stuff. But he was so funny. He would
Yeah.
get so mad that he was just being ordered around, and
Yeah.
then he basically just abandons them, kind of there towards the end. Um, really, really funny. Um, I thought the unicorn design was okay. I didn't think it was anything super, super crazy or different. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a dig at pharmaceutical companies and another one of those movies. A24 does a lot like rich people bad.
Yeah.
Let's laugh at rich people dying and
Yeah.
going through struggles.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't really get what I wanted from the violent side of it, but it really was a funny movie.
Yeah.
It was definitely a comedy. It wasn't scary. I
No.
mean,
No.
the unicorns didn't really freak me out or anything. It was just really, really funny, which is okay. I just think it's like the movie honestly didn't really know what it wanted to be, if it wanted to more so be a comedy or if they were really actually trying to go into kind of like a horror thriller, monster
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, like you said, I still walked out having had a good time. I laughed really, really hard in this movie. It's not anything breathtaking or spectacular, but like it was a fun, interesting, different movie. Then Will Poulter snorting the unicorn horn, and he does it like several times. It's so funny, and then
Yeah.
his eyes glow purple, and he's like he thinks he knows the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, dude, he is really good. There is some really funny stuff in here for sure, and even um, um, some of the older cast, Tia Leone and Richard E. Grant,
Yeah.
they were really really good as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, everybody, I think, I mean, most of like the rich family,
The supporting
they
cast.
were
Yeah.
they were pretty funny.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd was whatever. And for me personally, Jenna Ortega was kind of whatever. But yeah, I think everyone in that family and the butler like carried. They were so funny. They were really shitty people, but it was just funny because they were so stupid. And then Paul
Yeah.
Rudd kissing their ass, and the butler's having to kiss their ass. So yeah, no, really, really funny movie. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but it's definitely different from a lot of other stuff that we get. And I'm glad I went and saw it, and I would recommend it to people if you're looking to go get a good laugh out of
Yeah.
him. Nothing spectacular, definitely dragged at points. I think it probably could have been a little shorter, But I mean, yeah, fun, different movie with a pretty solid cast and really, really funny moments. Um, yeah, what did you rate it?
All right,
What
so yeah, my rating on LetterBoxd for Death of a Unicorn, is I believe I gave it 3 stars. I want to double check this because I did have the rating up, and that's what I want to go off of. So let me make sure. Pretty sure I gave it 3 stars. So nothing like awful, like it wasn't completely terrible. Yeah, 3 stars. And the number that I came up with was a 6.3 was what I gave it. That's what I thought it was going to be. This was there were some aspects of the movie that I wish they explored a little bit more, like the supernatural element of Jenna seeing what she saw, but they didn't. And then
Yeah,
it
it
ended
really
up,
didn't.
and they're saying like she's connected. Okay, connected how? You can't see. She has the one dream of the unicorn running through the forest, but that was about all we got connected. And she's supposed to be the pure-hearted maiden or whatever. We don't explore that until the very end when they lay in her lap. Um, so I mean, it's just some questions that I have, like, okay, what did she see? Why did the unicorn show it to her? Besides, she's pure-hearted. How did it know? Does it smell that? Like, what is the deal? And no, it's just Paul Rudd's character, and usually Paul Rudd I enjoy in a lot of movies. He's just not enjoyable, and I think they wrote his character that way maybe. But Will Poulter, and I did like Jenna Ortega. She did not bother me in this movie, and the butler. I think those three characters made it enjoyable for me, and of course the parents. They were hilariously naive. It makes it just funny. But yeah, the snorting unicorn horn is hilarious, and that could definitely be a term used for cocaine too. So, I mean, you could go either way with that. But yeah, 6.3. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah, yeah. I also gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, and I gave it a 6.3. So glad we're
No,
on.
no,
I swear to
you
God,
didn't.
I swear to God, I swear to
Uh,
God. You look right here, six
oh,
point
you have
three.
your rating. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have them in my
Wow,
notes.
this is gonna be
I
an
did.
awkward. It's gonna be an awkward
Yeah, awkward
thing.
graphic.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm kind of glad I mean, we're basically on the same page about it. There's things that we both liked about it and things that we didn't like about it. I think I wanted it to be a little better. Um, but I mean, it's still a fun time. It's not anything groundbreaking, but it's definitely really funny and different. And I know me and you both value like unique
I
movies like that.
definitely, I definitely agree with you though. Like the horror, I guess when like Cameron was asking what kind of movie it was, I said horror comedy. Like that's what I said. And you think of like movies that are still scary. I wouldn't classify this in the horror genre like whatsoever. Yes, the monster like unicorns are scary and there's like, but that's more of like a violent like comedy type thing, almost like a slasher movie. And the unicorns are the slashers in this. There's no jump scares. There's no real like tension that makes you like, oh
Yeah.
crap. So there's the one scene in the hallway where the flickers on and off and the unicorn's coming down the hall. That's like
Yeah.
literally it. That's the only scene I can think of. And oh, the other one that just pisses me off, I just think about it, is like Paul Rudd at that point would have known that he's after the horn because he has it the whole time. Why do you not like J- it just makes no sense on why I just told Jenna to jump out the window. Jenna finally does, and then he ends up running past her. Like it makes no sense. Like, what was the point of that whole thing? And then he's like on Will Poulter's side allegedly, and he stabs him, and then he stays too close to where he stabs him with the arrow. Like, okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah, and then they
Awesome.
just bring him back to life, which
Yeah.
was kind of dumb.
Which I thought they were not about to do. I was like, you have two unicorns standing right behind you, just ask them because apparently you're connected somehow. But they ended up doing it, and it's kind of like a cheesy scene. Like I saw it too, but
Yeah,
but at
yeah,
that point you like don't like
no,
Paul Rudd's character anymore. So
yeah. Well, that's hilarious. We both gave it the same score without even having talked about it. But um, yeah, no, like I said, I don't think it really knew what it wanted to be. Um, a good, successful horror comedy that I saw that you did not see is like I think of Hard Eyes.
hmm.
That is a good slasher movie that is also really, really funny, but kind of creepy. Like pretty creepy, unique deaths, and like I think that's kind of the vibe this movie was going for, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't like creepy at all.
There was
Um,
too many different elements that they wanted to go in but didn't explore enough, so then you're kind of like left like wanting
yeah.
more.
And I don't think the unicorns were scary enough. I think a scarier unicorn design could have made it scarier. Obviously,
Yeah.
like the white version of them doesn't have to be, but like the black, like dark version of them, I think they could have made them really scary, and they just didn't really. But
Yeah.
definitely not a bad movie. We both had fun with it. Um, Nothing groundbreaking, but uh, I think I would recommend it to people. It's really funny. And if you can handle a little bit of gore, um, go check it out. Some pretty funny performances, but yeah, nothing crazy. I was a little let down by it, but that's okay. Not every movie's gonna hit it out of the park. So
Right.
perfect, like 3-star movie. That's what I gave it to instantly. Like as soon as before I even gave it a 6.3, I was like, yeah, that's 3 stars for sure. So um, perfectly watchable. Go check it out if you want. If you decide not to, you're not missing too much. So that's our Death of Unicorn review. Yeah, and then we got another A24 banger coming out in a couple weeks with Warfare, completely different movie. So very excited for that. We'll definitely be talking about Warfare.
Well,
Yeah, so that's Death.
we will
Huh?
100% have a review for that movie, by the
Oh
way.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Oh yeah. No, that movie looks sick. I actually got a trailer for Warfare before this movie.
actually did
That
not.
that
Shocker.
I'm no the movie I'm about to talk about. So,
Oh.
yeah. So I saw Death of Unicorn like last week, and then a couple movies came out this weekend as well that I want to check out. And one of those was the new Jason Statham movie, A Working Man. I know you were kind of busy, you weren't able to catch it.
Thanks, Doctor. Not gonna say your name, but thanks for keeping me long.
That's okay. That's okay. New Jason Statham movie, A Working Man, directed by David Ayer, the same guy that directed Beekeeper last year. Obviously they clearly have like a good working relationship and can make entertaining stuff together. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about that. I saw that on Saturday, um, and it is just the most Jason Statham movie ever. It's just him hunting down bad guys and killing them, like
Love it.
and trying to save somebody. So
I love it.
basically, he works for a construction company for Michael Pena. He's like the manager or whatever. And Jason Statham, he clearly like has a past. He'd been in the army or something. Um, Clearly had like a wild, I don't know, like Black Ops past or whatever. Um, so he's done and he's just working construction, trying to live a normal life. He's got a daughter who's living with the mother with who's living with the dead mother's parents. So it's like his in-laws. She's living with
Gotcha.
his in-laws. And they hate him. They won't let him hardly see his daughter, because they think that so his wife killed herself while he was overseas. So they like blame the death of her on him. Um, so they really don't like her seeing the daughter, but he has a really cute little relationship that you see him and his daughter have, and basically that's why he is now a construction worker. He's trying to live a normal life at home and prove, to his in-laws that he can still be a good parent, and he wants to have a relationship with his daughter. They have a very, very cute little relationship and some good interactions in this movie. And yeah, so basically. He's at work one day. It's Michael Pena and his wife, and then they have a daughter. Michael Pena and his wife have a daughter that also works for the construction company. She's a little younger. She's like 21 or something. And there is a there's a fight that happens kind of early on in the movie. One of the construction workers had gotten in with the wrong people, and so they go to the construction site to confront him. And Jason Statham does Jason Statham things and beats him. And so obviously, like they run off and tell their bosses what happened. Their bosses are like, "All right, we're going to retaliate against this company," and they kidnap Michael Pena's daughter. Not Jason Statham's daughter, because she's not really like there, but
Gotcha. Yep.
Michael Pena's daughter. They're trying to, they're pissed off at the construction company for what happened. So they kidnap his daughter, and basically sex traffic her, or that's what they're like trying to do. They're in sex trafficking. Um, and so it's very much just like Taken, but with Jason Statham. He is dragged back into his past to go and rescue this girl that he's super close with. He says like early on in the movie he considers Michael Pena and his wife and the daughter, the one that gets kidnapped, like he considers them family because he doesn't really have much of a family. He doesn't get to see his daughter that much. Um, so you can tell he's like super duper close with this girl, the one that gets kidnapped, and so he goes on a mission to rescue her from these human traffickers. And there's like Russian mafia involved, cartel, just a bunch of different gangs, like a biker gang. All of these people that are all like working in the human trafficking world. And it's just Jason Statham. Just imagine Jason Statham just killing a bunch of people and beating the shit out of people. That's what this movie is. I actually liked this one better than The Beekeeper. The Beekeeper was, I mean, we both really enjoyed.
Picture
I
is
think this
really
one,
good.
I think this one was better.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't really know why. I just liked it better. You also get a pretty small side role from David Harbour. Um, he plays one of his like old, you know, one of the guys that was in the army with him. Um, so. Yeah, I mean it's just a Jason Statham movie. I don't really know how much to describe it. It's very similar to Beekeeper and like the mechanic movies and Homestead and all these stereotypical Jason Statham movies that he's been in. And he knows his lane. He knows what he's good at, and so that's the lane he sticks in, and I respect him for it.
Absolutely.
Another guy that kind of reminds me of that is Gerard Butler. Like he
Yep.
knows like the kind of movies that he fits in well in,
Yep.
and so he just rolls with it. So I love Jason Statham. He's just one of the guys. He's got like the one of the greatest voices. Um, and every time he releases a movie, like we're gonna have a good time. It's just fueled towards dudes. Like his movies are just dude movies, dude rock movies.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's just him going to rescue this girl and a lot of different players at hand, and it's pretty funny. You got some like club scenes, you got like some cool bar fights and bar scenes, and then his final like rescue mission at the end is super cool. Pretty funny, like some very, very like really funny laugh out loud moments. And good action, good deaths. I actually like this movie better than Death of a Unicorn. I gave this 3.5 stars on Letterboxd and gave it a 6.8. So like I think that's pretty much like around 6.5, 7 is like that's where all these Jason Statham movies live. None of them are incredible. None of them are bad.
Hmm.
They're just what they are, and what they are is like middle of the ground, enjoyable action movies. So I really enjoyed Working Man. I liked it better than Death of a Unicorn. You definitely need to go check it out. You would love it. I liked it better than Beekeeper. Um,
I don't know. I like Beekeeper a lot.
Tyler just walked by. Yeah, no, Beekeeper is good. They're both good, but I did like it better. Same director, so same kind of action and stuff. But
Okay.
um, yeah, no, definitely go check out A Working Man. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, but it definitely was. My biggest complaint is that it's a little long. It's like 2 hours. A movie like that does not need to be 2 hours. It
You
needs to be
mean
like
the
an
hour and a
hour.
half
Needs
movie?
to be like an hour 40 max.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, no real complaints. It's just Jason Statham being Jason Statham. Very cool.
I love that.
Uh, yeah, check it out for sure. So, yeah, that kind of wraps up our big TV show reactions and like movie reviews for the week. And then as we close out every week, did you watch what else did you watch other than the stuff that we talked about? Did you watch anything? I know we were both kind of busy this past week, but I
Yeah, we
was
had a
able to
busy
watch
week.
some stuff.
Obviously, like we watched stuff that we talked about, Studio Adolescence, Daredevil. I do have a plan. I probably just won't talk about it on this episode. I know the next show I'm gonna watch, and it's a new Netflix release, called The Resident. So I will probably get
I saw
that
that.
to you. Obviously, I don't expect you to watch it or anything, but it's gonna be one that I just watched this week. I know it's a new release. And I really, really, really want to start Paradise this week. So that might be the next show that I'm on. Movie wise, just old movies that I've seen before. Nothing too crazy. Um, I think of like we watched Little Women earlier this week. Timmy C, shout out him.
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, it's good. It actually is really good. Timmy C is awesome as always. Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan. I mean, it's just like a stacked
Bob
cast. Bob
Odenkirk.
Odenkirk's in it. Not very long, but yeah, no, that was one. And I literally have one in my head that we watched. I watched Couples Retreat for the first time in probably, oh man, it had to have been 10 years probably.
Bro,
But
I need a good Vince Vaughn movie. I feel like he
yeah,
hadn't done
yeah.
anything in a while.
But no, Vince Vaughn's hilarious. I actually don't love that movie, but Vince Vaughn is hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, nothing. I do have two shows set up for this week. Hopefully, I know The Residence I will definitely finish because I know it's new. Haven't seen anything on it, and then I do want to at least start Paradise
Yeah.
before next episode.
No, no, no. You'll love Paradise. That show's lit. I also didn't really watch too much this week. It's been a super busy week for me at work.
Yeah.
But today I actually did watch two really solid movies. I rewatched The Accountant
Oh yeah, yeah. I need to do
today.
that.
Just I saw it all in there, and I was like, you know what, the new one's coming out. I need a refresher. It's been a while.
What's it on?
Dude, it is such a good movie. What is it on? It's on. I watched it on HBO, but it's also on Amazon, I think.
I have HBO, so that's
Yep.
fine.
Yep. I watched The Accountant a lot better than I remember. I think it came out when I was just 16, so like I didn't really, think much of it, but it is a really good movie. Um, Ben Affleck plays that role really well, and then you got
Yeah,
Bernthal in it. So yeah, I'm excited for the second one now, a little bit more than I was. Excited to kind of see them back at it again, and it's kind
yeah,
of being described as like a buddy comedy. So that sounds like something
yeah.
we would
That
both
sounds
enjoy.
fun, actually.
And then right after that, I actually watched a release from last year that neither one of us got to, and that is The Order with Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult.
Oh yeah, okay.
Um, Really solid movie. Really,
Oh
really,
really?
really solid. Yeah, no, really, really solid Nick Holt performance and Jude Law. Ty Sheridan is in it as well, and a couple other
Go.
people you recognize. Um, Also, I wish Ty Sheridan was in more stuff. He's a really solid, like
Ready
young.
Player One. I mean, he's the one.
I know. That's like the
He's
biggest thing he's ever
awesome.
been in.
Literally
Yeah, no,
awesome.
yeah, great movie. But
Yeah.
um,
Oh, he's he's the Cyclops in the new X-Men as
he
well.
is. Yep, he is. The ones that aren't very good, but he's not
Oh,
the issue. Yeah, so I watched the Accountant and The Order today, two solid movies, and I'm actually like halfway through a rom-com I'm watching right now. Nothing crazy. But yeah, so that's yeah, it's been a busy week for both of
yeah.
us, but we had a lot of good shows to watch. We called a couple good movies, so and the stupid Marvel shit, but it is what it is.
Spent 30 minutes on that alone, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that basically wraps up the episode. And like Wilk said at the beginning, we got a lot of stuff coming out. I have the list next to me right here. Next week, which I'm definitely gonna be checking out. We're gonna be reviewing Minecraft. We're we're gonna go see the Minecraft movie and check that out. And then the next week we get The Amateur. Next week we get Sinners. The next week we get Accountant 2, and the next week we get Thunderbolts. Like
Hey, we
it's
get Warfare on the
and we
11th
get
as well.
Warfare in the middle of that too. Yeah, it
Yep.
wasn't even on the list. We get
Yep.
Warfare kind of in the middle of that. That's
Yeah.
next
So
comes out the same week as the Amateur. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
we have
So
Minecraft, we have the Amateur, we have Warfare, we have Sinners, we have the Accountant 2. I mean, it is about to
Thunderbolts.
buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to get a lot of reviews. So with that being said, we appreciate you watching episode 13. This one was a little bit of a long one. We know this one was a little bit of a long haul. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, of course, we're going to have it clipped up and into shorter parts on YouTube. So make sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss the content on the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, man. We are going to be having reviews. We're going to be having like just our thoughts about things, movie news, all of that is going to be on the Twitter. So make sure to check that out in the Twitter below. Check out our letterbox. You can see what we're watching. If you get interested, you can kind of be like, oh, I want to watch that. So check us out there. And of course, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. We'll be back into the short form content this week, hopefully. We have this is a less busy week for me. I have no exams, none of that. So this is like the first week I get to sit down and do all that. And
Yeah.
of course, like we have movie reviews coming up. just please, like, you are gonna see our thoughts. Probably there's gonna be a lot of thoughts the next month, and just make sure that you go see these movies in theaters and make your own opinions. Y'all should do that. We're gonna highly recommend that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you want to see, all of that good stuff. Cole, you got anything else that you want to say before we get out of
We
here?
got movie of the year review next week. Everybody strap in. Minecraft movie is going to be the best movie of the year. I'm actually low key so excited for it. It's going to be so bad, but yeah, no, solid episode today. It was great talking with you, and
Yeah,
we will talk to all you guys next week
we
with
will.
Minecraft review and our TV shows and all that fun stuff. So peace out
Peace out, guys.
and fuck you, Mr.
Fuck you,
Milchick.
Mr. Milchick. Love you guys. See you in the next one.